Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Choose Positive Living. I am your host, Sarah Troy, right here in selfdiscoverymedia.com, and my wonderful repeat guests are Doctors Shelley and Tom Negelow. Today, our topic is about relationships, how to respect them, how to save them, how to ignite them, reunite them, and not just kind of throw in the towel and walk away, or maybe recognize sometimes that the towel has to be thrown in. They have had a very, 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 very long, wonderful marriage, but they also had their rocky point. And this is where they learned that what they needed to do to come back to each other. And now it has become their teachings, and they help other couples find their way back to love. And where does it all start, folks? I think that it actually starts with self. It's very hard to get other people to love you if you do not know how to love yourself. And that's very easy to lose along the way. You know, when we fall in love, it's that euphoric thing. You can't live without them. You want to be with them every second of the day. You can't get enough of them. And then either life intervenes or you maybe find out you weren't that in tune. I don't know. It's just whatever the relationships are. But one of the things that really is the foundation of it all is respect for one another, amongst many other things. And would you say that that is perhaps what has been your glue? Never mind the love, but the respect for one another. Welcome back, Shelley and Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Sarah. This is a joy. Talking about relationships.
Yeah, I mean, how long have you two been married?
Well, it's 49 years this year, which means that I got married when I was 2 years old.
Exactly. Yes, your child bride.
Still makes her 51, but that's okay.
Got to admit to that half century, right?
I'm not going there.
For anybody to reach anywhere near that, you know, it's not La La Land. You know, everybody thinks that getting married and falling in love, and it's the forever after, and we're going to live in the twilight zone. And it's not a reality, is it? You know, that just like a business, it takes work.
Yes, and the thing you said about respect, not only is respect necessary as a foundation, love is certainly part of that foundation. But even more than respect, you have to, who are you respecting? The personality, the job that they have, how they look, exactly what is it that you are respecting? And in order to respect someone, you really got to know who they are. You have to find out who they are. And that's where a relationship really begins, I think.
Do you think it's something we lose along the way, Shelley? That we kind of, you know, in the merging of two people into a life, that somewhere along the line we kind of lose our own identity?
You know, I think that's so true. I think we lose our identity even in the early stages of the relationship because we're caught up in the illusion of the ecstasy. And there's nothing wrong with the ecstasy. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And boy, would we love to have it forever. Well, we can. But we have to shift our focus and learn that our lives aren't based in an illusion, not based on our perception. You know, one of the things that I grew up with that actually saved my life in so many ways was I lived in the fairy tale of happily ever after with the Disney movies.
Yes.
And
Cinderella,
so many
here
young
comes the
women
prince.
did, right? And it was sure lovely, very wonderful stuff. And someday my prince will come. And in fact, he did. However, I knocked him off his horse very early in the relationship, and he was being dragged bloody through the streets. And I couldn't understand how come the relationship wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
because I based it in an illusion to begin with.
Right. Yes. And I mean, it's so easy to see, you know, we're brought up with the Disney, and other people are brought up, you know, Disney's still going and all those love stories are there, except for kind of slightly changing now, where women are becoming more liberated and, you know, making choices. So it's going with the times. But then you've got the other side of the things of, you know, the housewives of, where you see, you know, kind of rich housewives that just seem to be constant train wrecks, utterly miserable, cat fighting all the time. And then people say, is that what a wife is meant to be? You know, so I think it's confusing times for young people right now to actually know what is truly a relationship.
Yeah. So first you have to stop listening to all those things, because
Yes.
they're all based on illusion. They're all based on a lie. And it's, you know, it's media, it's
Yeah.
television.
Yeah.
So it's meant to entertain and sell advertising space. That's why it's there.
Mhm.
So the first thing is to ignore all that, because it just, in a true relationship, a partnership, just isn't real.
Mhm.
But again, the most important thing, like you said in the beginning, is to discover a place in yourself, who you are.
Yeah.
What is it you want in life, where you want your life to go, how it is you want your life, and more importantly with this, how you want your relationship to be.
Mhm.
And not from all the illusions from your parents or Disney that you've learned and heard, how things are supposed to be, how you truly want them to be. And you have to start from that place. Otherwise, you're going at it from, you know, from a wrong angle. You're going at it from what you think it should be rather than how it feels.
Yeah. The expectation of it rather than the reality of it.
Yeah, the illusion of the expectation based on illusion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of what is right, you know, leave it to Beaver and, you know, all of these, you know,
Yeah.
barefoot and
Well,
pregnant in the
in,
kitchen.
in, in that case, you should leave it to Beaver.
Relationships are hard to have with anyone else if you don't have a good relationship with yourself. And so many people are looking for someone to complete them, right?
An impossible task.
Absolutely. You know, that is our job, isn't it? We need to complete us. Somebody can enhance you, support you, love you, see you in a different light to show yourself. But that completion is our job for ourselves, not for someone to come in and fix us.
Yeah, that's real important,
Mm-hmm.
because one of the illusions I think as human beings have is someone is going to come along and make us whole
Mm-hmm.
somehow. And that's impossible. You can't ever get enough love from somebody else to be convinced that you love yourself.
Yeah, good
So
statement
if you're
there.
looking for somebody else for you to have that experience within yourself, you're never going to get there, and it's always going to be very difficult. And those are treacherous waters to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you can't, when you find somebody, you love somebody, you want to have a relationship. That doesn't mean you can't be around them because you haven't discovered yourself yet. Certainly, when Shelley and I began our relationship, we were clueless. First of all, we were children, number one, but number two,
Two and three, right?
yeah, really. But even with that, we went on the road to discovering who we were,
Mm-hmm.
even though in those early years. So that's how you create a partnership, is by really getting who you are and getting the other person. You don't have to go off by yourself to the Himalayas and live in a cave for 20 years to discover that who you are.
Right, right.
In fact, it's more powerful when you can find somebody you can do that with together.
And somebody that's kind of in discovery of you while you are discovering you.
Yeah.
You know, because then it becomes that reflection, you know, how that person starts interacting with you is an acknowledgement of how you're interacting with yourself. And so in a lot of ways, it mirrors you know, how we're feeling. So if you are, you know, an animal will do this, right? If your animal starts getting stressed out or misbehaving, it's picking up on that negative energy, and it's playing up. And, you know, we go and blame the animal, but what about the energy we're putting out there? So in a relationship, if we've got discord within ourselves and we're not willing to resolve it, or ask our partner to help us, you know, speak to it, we're going to impose it on our partner. And very often the angst between couples are outside exposures of just not being able to handle something.
I'm laughing, Sarah, because it's so well put. You know, we are reactive to whatever the issues are that we haven't resolved within ourselves, and we project them onto that other person. Now, that other person may also have issues that have a similar feeling to what we're upset about, and so we get tangled up with each other over issues that we haven't dealt with within ourselves.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's all about the other person. I'll tell you, when things fell apart in my marriage, I was sure it was Tom's fault because I was the perfect person. After all, women are perfect, aren't they? You know, we can do everything. We're powerhouses.
Right, exactly.
You know, and, you know, my husband, he's in the middle of whatever he's in the middle of, but it's not my problem. It's definitely his.
Right. Yeah. Wait, remember the finger pointing, the three pointing back at you. Take onus. Yeah.
And the thing that changed it for us when we were in the middle of those years, and that was about 15 years into the marriage, was I actually woke up one day and realized that I was projecting into the relationship stuff I'd never healed in my childhood.
Right.
Stuff especially around my father. But when I saw it, and it was such a vivid experience, I woke up in the middle of it and said, oh, well, if I set it in motion this way, if I created it this way, I can uncreate it and I can create it a whole different way.
Right.
I just have to find out how to do it. And that's when I went to Tom, because we were talking about divorce seriously at the time. And we were all upset, including our children who were very young at the time. And I said, listen, I want to stay in the relationship. I'd like to work this out and create a whole new way of interacting with each other. How about you?
And my answer was, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. Because at that point, I really didn't know where I was with it.
Right.
Other than the pain.
Right. You're caught up so much in the emotion. It's hard to kind of have any clarity, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and absolutely the experience of love was there, but very little of the rest of it. So at least we had that foundation.
Yeah.
And then I looked at myself and looked at what I wanted in my life. And the thing that tipped the scales for me was I did not want to live away from my children. So that for me was the most important thing. So anything else, you know, we can work out. And so going into repairing the relationship, that's the place I was.
Yeah.
I was willing to look and see my part in it, what was working for me in the relationship, what wasn't working for me, what I was doing that wasn't working for her. And over a number of years, we started to develop the things and reconnect the partnership and make it a real partnership where we were both for each other.
Yeah, not against each other.
Yeah, so many relationships we see, and people come into the relationship seminar that we do, and it's almost adversarial, you know. And as they look at their lives and look at what they're doing to themselves and each other, they start to realize this isn't about the other person. This is stuff in my life that I haven't cleared yet. And in fact, that's what we teach. We teach them how to look at that in a way that's positive and a way that's helpful to get through it.
I mean, that's so important. You know, I am divorced. I knew the marriage was definitely broken down. I wanted to try and fix it. For me, I wanted a partner for life. You know, I wanted, what are we going to do in our twilight years when the kids leave home? What are we going to do? And unfortunately, there was no vision on that side. It was almost like he'd already dismissed me, and there was not a willingness to come to the table. It was still always my fault, and I'm going to take onus. I allowed him to kick me. I gave him the boots. I didn't have enough strength and courage in myself until I did. And then, when the arguments happened, I used to say, take it up with your mirror. It's the only one interested. And I stopped feeding into it and then started, kind of, this is your problem. Don't impose it on me. And he basically, I had, I had worked with a woman who had removed some past lives, a woman who used a pendulum. And when I did ask my husband for a divorce, this is what he said word for word, was, that bloody pendulum woman, she took the control I had over you away from me. Now, if your marriage is based on control, then it's not based on love. And how can you repair something that hasn't got at least I like
Welcome
you
to
or I love you?
selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that
why
are
don't you
making a
address that
difference in the
control?
lives of others. Our
Well,
self-discovery is something
when
we
I
are
woke
all
up
making
in the middle
on
of
our
all the
life's journey.
craziness and realized
Here
that
you
I
will
was
find the people
responsible,
that will be your guidance.
that's when I began to
They will
let
be
go
your
of my
inspiration.
control.
That will be
I've been
there for
working on
you
letting go
in
of my
support
control
on your
through my
journey of
entire
life.
adult life
Do enjoy.
since I
Our
woke
next
up.
show is...
And the thing that's really important for relationship is taking responsibility for your own life.
Yeah.
Whether you like it, whether you don't like it, doesn't make any difference. What are you going to create from it
You're right.
that's going to move you forward in your life? And I think that's where most people get caught up.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that they forget and they don't realize is that we're much bigger than each of us individually.
Mm-hmm.
Tom and I spent a number of months and probably several years actually taking time to heal ourselves individually.
Mm-hmm.
Then came back into the marriage and discovered who we were together from a whole different place.
Right.
From
And
your
then
wholeness, right? From your wholeness.
Yes, from your wholeness. And eventually we came to who we are as a couple. We actually came to the experience of who we are, our purpose, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
for creating and being in life together, rather than basing our lives just on, working, paying the bills, taking care of the children, and all the things that we do, which are quite honorable and very important. But there's more to our lives, and we don't notice that because we get so caught up in the circumstances that we don't realize that there is this common energy that we share when we come together,
Mm-hmm.
that's always there, that we can actually address and empower and use to create a life that we love,
Right.
as a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually came into that. And so that's what we teach, is we teach how do you use the experience of the relationship to be in the world to create the quality of life you want together.
Yeah, in other words, what are you building together that's bigger than the relationship?
Mm. More solid.
Yeah.
So it gives your foundation for everything.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. How far have you rooted?
Yeah. I have what I do and my purpose and intentions in life. Shelley does also, has the things she does. And we come together and look at, where are we taking this relationship? What is this relationship building? Not just me as an individual, her as an individual. She supports me, I support her. That goes without saying. But how are we both supporting, if you will, the energy of the relationship to create in the world, to build something in the world that makes a difference?
Yeah, it's
So
the
that's
you,
one.
I, and us, isn't it? You've
Yeah.
got to both be the I in order to be the us.
Yes, and it's an energetic thing. It's a feeling that you have of the relationship. That's one of the secrets for staying together for a long time. I just
Yeah.
gave it away.
But in today's world, women are wanting so much to be very independent. I certainly was in the early days before I met Tom. I thought that the way to go in life was to be independent.
Mm-hmm.
But we're creatures of connecting with each other.
Yeah.
And creating relationships. That's our natural way, whether we acknowledge it or not. And one of the misunderstandings for women who want to be very powerful in their lives and powerful out in their careers and so on, they miss that they actually become even more powerful when they have a true partnership in relationship.
Yeah.
They expand even greater beyond themselves. And they don't see it because most people don't model it in relationship. Or if they do, it's quite quiet and it's not noticed so much.
I have a tattoo on my shoulder that my kids gave me when I turned 50, and it's two butterflies forming a one butterfly. And it's based on the Celtic runes Gifu. And I believe in North America they call it Gibu, the gift of partnership, the X. So it is the coming together of myself, being myself, and my children, and the relationship I have with them. It's neither one of us losing identity, but it's that we make a different whole when we individually come together.
Exactly. And so there's an energetic connection and energetic experience that encompasses all of you, but is a separate entity or a separate energy unto itself that has to be nurtured. And you experience that directly.
Yeah. I mean, like most women, I went down the road where, everything was, I don't know if it's the age or just the culture or just me, have to be of service. I'm like that. That is what drives me. I have to be of service. I have to put things out there that will be a contribute, to in some form of way. And when I get lost in relationships by doing more than I should, giving more than I should, and maybe it stifles people, or I get lost because I'm so busy trying to please. Fortunately now, I've reached that grand old age where I can now be happy to be me without any apology, and you could take me or leave me, but I'm not compromising me. And I think that's the important thing, isn't it? Know who you are and know what you give. You're giving from that place of love and generosity and conviction, but at the same time, don't lose yourself in the relationship.
Oh, no. Yeah, if you're losing yourself, then what you're attempting to accomplish really isn't going to be effective. Not really.
I vouch for that.
Certainly there isn't going to be satisfaction for yourself in your life.
No. I think the other thing that people don't realize too is, you hear the statement, oh, she's not the woman I married. No, let's hope not. Let's hope she's evolved and explored life. Let's hope you have. And each of you individually explore your journeys in life, and you come together and share them. And how can you unite those experiences in your togetherness? We don't want people to be the same as when they first got married. We want people to grow. And really, a relationship should be cheering each other on and encouraging each other on our own self-exploration.
That's the richness of coming together in the energy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Now, Tom, you talked about both of you are doing different things, and this is our fourth show, I think, Shelley. And you've got your women summits. So you're all about, for 30 years now, being supporting women in becoming themselves and embracing their femininity, embracing who they are as beautiful creatures. And of course, Tom, you represent Kuthumi, 3 wonderful, I don't know, gurus, mentors, gods, and they come and they speak through you. And so each one of you have your own individual platforms. But then because of going through the relationships, you decided also to come together as relationship coaches, because each one of you are bringing a yin yang. Not only are you bringing the experience of going through this and what worked for you, but you're also each bringing your own ingredients to a combined dish that then benefits anybody who partakes.
Yes, that's exactly how we approach our relationship coaching, and how that started, and where we get the things that we do, and support people with the information we have, is we looked at what we did and what it took to become a partnership. Actually sat down and over a number of, I guess, years really, tore it apart, looked at, okay, what did we do? How did this happen? How did we communicate through it? What did we do individually? What did we do together? And it's from those experiences and from the method that we use to bring our relationship together, that's what we teach from. We teach from the experience of going from things are crazy to a true partnership.
The best
So
teachers, those that have gone through it. Yeah.
Sure. And it doesn't take as long as we took to do it. We took quite a long time. So going through the relationship workshop really is a couple of weekends and some other training, and you get the basics. Now, like anything else, you got to practice.
Yeah.
You have to practice with yourself. You have to practice with your partner, and those are the things we teach.
It's also, it's not, as you say, a couple of weekends and here are some tools, go and practice it, and now you're going to sit an exam and it's over with. This is something of integrating it into your lifestyle. This is something that becomes a part of you that you're bringing to the relationship. So it's a complete change of mindset, heart set, soul set, and practice, isn't it?
Yes, and it goes deeper and deeper the more you do it. The more you have those realizations. And at some point, there's a turnover where rather than practicing or trying to do it, efforting, it just happens.
Yeah.
It just happens naturally in the energy between the two of you. It happens easily within yourself. That's when the relationship becomes a true partnership.
Right.
And you don't have to struggle anymore with it.
And people again, I want back what we had in the beginning. You're not going to get that same kind of intoxicating euphoria, but what you are going to get is something that is just so much more deeply rooted, that can weather the wind and the storms. I think one of the things I miss the most in not having a relationship is that companionship. Shelley, you're leaning into Tom. And you can just feel, the love aura between you. And that it's one of respect, it's one of love, but that wonderful sense of companionship, of togetherness. And I miss that. I miss that more than anything. But people, it's not about the raising of the children, each other's careers, or the sex in your relationship, although that's important. It's about how can you sit with each other in silence and hear each other.
Very so. Oh my goodness. Just to listen and to be heard for whatever it is that you communicate, and vice versa. Very, very essential. And then, creating what do you want to create from that? Tom and I are always looking at what's next. What are we going to create from whatever it is that we're involved in at the time? And that's the juice of creating. Taking the present outcome, the present circumstances, the present experience, and creating whatever it is you choose to create without limitation.
Or expectation.
Yeah.
Or expectation.
And even if you like what's going on, fine. If you don't like what's going on, fine. The question you have to keep asking yourself is, what am I creating with this? In a relationship, what are we creating with this?
Oh, why? Why are you creating? What are you wanting to get out of it? The why is important.
Yeah, well, the why for us is that's how we are. It's what we do. It's our passion. So we keep looking at what is it we're creating, and sometimes we don't know, which is okay, because as we keep working at it, we'll find that out. So whatever the circumstances are, and it's easy to get caught up in the circumstances. We live in a three-dimensional world, and you got kids and cars and wives and husbands and dogs and all that stuff.
And bills.
Yeah. And so just for a moment, take that away and look at, okay, what am I really passionate about? And what am I creating with this? And just keep looking. Just keep asking yourself that. And ask your partner and work on it together and see where he or she is. And from that, create a true partnership in what are you building together.
think it's also know your chapters. You know, I have 3 children. I was mostly a stay-at-home mom. You know, that was my job, to raise 3 children, be the neighborhood mom. You know, they couldn't go into sports or events without me because they had to rely 100% on me. And I, you know, had the gift of being able to be their mom. It is work. It's 24/7. You don't take weekends off or evenings off. You know, you are on the job all the time.
You're
That
it.
was, you know, that was it. You are it. Yeah. But that was my chosen path. I desperately wanted to be a mother. And I poured myself into motherhood. I loved every minute of it, even the, you know, the oh my God moments that you get. And you want to know that your spouse is there with you. Each one of you will have a different strength. It's don't play against each other, play off each other with the children. You know, mom will have this role, dad will have that role of, okay, you handle that one, I'll handle this one, or this means I need to step in on this, and no, I'm going to handle this on this way. And it's that, look at it as a business transaction. You know, that you can't have 2 CEOs who are both doing the same thing. You need to know who is good at what and who is good at the other, respect each other's input, back each other up. And then when those children kind of leave the coop, and now it's like, okay, it's my turn. What am I going to do for myself now? And that's where, you know, the spouse needs to kind of say, okay, stop flapping your wings, go and explore. If you haven't already, go and explore. Be there for each other, no matter what the chapter of life is about.
Yep, that's exactly right. It's echo what you said. I think it might be a good time to bring in Katumi
Wonderful.
and have him speak about relationship. If
Mm-hmm.
you have a couple of questions, you know, please, or
Yes.
Shelley might ask something, and we'll just see where we go. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Good.
and just to let people know that haven't seen you before, that you are going to go into a trance, and you are going to be a different person coming out speaking in a different way, and you're channeling. So,
Yes, just so that they know, I'm a trance channel,
mm-hmm.
which means I go into a deep meditative trance, and I have no recollection of what's been said or what the questions are or the answers. I don't, you know, I don't have any hearing. I just go to black, and some little bit later, I come back into my body.
Mm-hmm.
Katumi is the energy of St. Francis of Assisi, Pythagoras, and the Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan is the Indian leader who built the Taj Mahal. And I speak, the energy of those 3 is unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm called the voice of unconditional love for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
And the speaking is, for me, for us, very profound.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gives a lot of insight into some of the things that we're wondering and not sure about, but gives an insight from a different energetic point of view, rather than, if you can ask me a question, I'll give you Tom's answer, because that's all I got.
Right. Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
ask the same question to Katumi, it'll be different, because Katumi is a different energy than this personality, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
So I put my personality aside, I put all of that aside in trance, and that pure energy just moves through me and speaks.
Wonderful.
Now, just so you know, the energy comes through as the personality of the Shah Jahan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's as if a little Indian man is sitting here and speaking profoundly without any judgment in an Indian accent.
But it very articulate, as we had in our last show together. Yes, very profound and very articulate. So yes, I'm looking forward to this. Thank you.
You want to stay in the picture, or?
I'm going to get out of the picture, but I may ask a question depending on what you have to ask. Okay?
Sure.
Okay. I'll see you in a little bit.
Ciao for now.
Well, now, good day to you, my dear.
Good day to you.
And how are you on such a fine day that this is?
I'm doing wonderful. Wonderful to be speaking with you again.
Very good. So let us speak for a bit about what this thing called partnership in relationship is about, you see. How do you make a partner? How you make a partner is first by agreeing to be partners, you see. Then the next thing is to talk about the partnership, talk about the experience that you are, the experience of who you are, and the vibration of who you are in your body and your thinking and all of that. And more importantly, listen to the partner, the other person, from the same energy that they are within you, you see. What happens in partnership is energy is exchanged at the experiential level. Now, in partnership, in even just a relationship, this happens as well. But in partnership, what the difference is that the energy is brought into the vibration of who you are, and your energy is brought into the vibration of the person you are partnering with, you see. So there is a commonality, an understanding, a feeling within each of you of each other, you see. Now, do not confuse this with passion. Do not confuse this with, shall we say, overwhelmed feelings for another person. And it's wonderful and terrific. And that is fine to have. That is fun to play with. But it is not the true experience of the vibration of another. It is an exciting experience, yes. But in order to experience anything, what is necessary? What is necessary for experience is to bring it into the world. If you're sitting alone in a mountaintop for 30 years and meditating, you may be having a great experience, but it is useless on the mountaintop by itself. And you're not truly experiencing that energy. You must go into town with the energy. You must climb down the mountain and go into town. What is about you? What is occurring? Now, how are you going to use the energy, the vibration of who you are in the world? Because the world is where everything exists. It is nice to sit on a mountaintop for a time, but nothing gets done other than perhaps within yourself, but then you have to do something with it. Otherwise, it is a waste of time. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to be in the world, same as relationship. You can sit on the top of a mountain together and enjoy each other's company and conversation and like each other and love each other and have passion and compassion and all of those wonderful things. But by itself, it is not enough. That's why so many relationships start out with a great thing and then ultimately become difficult, because you are sitting on the mountain of an illusion called what you think a relationship should be. Where you've got to find the truth in the relationship, who you are in the relationship, who the other person in the relationship is, exchange and share that vibration, and then you must come down off the mountain to do something. What are you going to do? You see. The purpose of a relationship is not to relate. That will happen just in the process of being in the world with it, you see. You cannot work enough on a relationship to have it have meaning. It must have meaning in reality, you see. And once you discover this meaning, then the relationship truly becomes a partnership. Do you see?
Yeah.
Very good. And so upon the questions in this time.
When somebody has been hurt in a relationship, there is a trust factor in ever embracing a new relationship. What advice would you have for someone who is just a little tentative about seeking a new relationship, getting over the trust or the
Yes.
betrayal of trust?
Well, the thing you must trust, of course, is in yourself. Now, what does this mean? Easy to say this. Well, trust yourself. Yes, very interesting. But what does it truly mean? What it means is you have done the necessary work, the introspection, if you will, so that you are in your life whole and complete. There is nothing lacking. There is no lack of love for the self. The love for the self is fully experienced and expressed in the world, in the universe, in God's love, you see. And so when you are in this state of being, what could possibly hurt you? You see? Nothing can come between you and this experience because nothing has given it to you. You have given it to yourself. The only one who can take it is you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it is an illusion that somebody can take the love from you. Well, they can stop loving you. Yes, that is possible, but they cannot take the love you are for yourself from you. That is not possible. It is given to you with the cells of your body and the vibration of the universe within you, you see. When you realize this, then you can go into the world and go into another relationship, not trying to defend something, but expressing yourself fully, and very simply asking yourself, in this relationship, is it supporting the vibration I am in the world, or is it not? And we suggest if it is not, don't do it.
Yes. We're seeing so many people today choose to go through life alone, being content with who they are and what they're doing with themselves, and not to partner up. Is this going to be something we're going to see more of in the future, where people choose not to have a partner in life?
Well, we do not know what is going to happen in the future, but we can tell you from which this thing comes, you see.
Mm-hmm.
You have been hurt, or a person doing this has been hurt in relationship, you see. There's some way that they have been disorganized, disunited, however, with somebody they had passion for. So they say to themselves, well, I don't need another person. No, you do not need another person. But why not get together with another person as a partner, whether intimate or not, makes no difference, and live your life this way. You see, not that you depend on them, not that you have to have them, but another can support you however the relationship is, you see. Another can come into your life and support you in who you are, you see, and have you even expand further past what it is you might be able to do on your own, you see. Mm-hmm. So when you explore this possibility now, you are expanding the vibration of who you are in the world.
Katumi, I have a question here.
Yes.
That has to do with, well, if you don't have a relationship, how do you create one that's going to be appropriate for you, that's harmonious with who you are?
Yes. Well, by practice. Very simply, what you do is first, of course, as we have said many times, discover the vibrational energy within of who you are, you see. Then you go looking about around others. You speak to others. You interact with others, you see. And the more clear you are in the vibration of self, what will happen is you will have a physical, emotional vibration of the other person, you see. So you very simply ask the self, is the vibration of this other harmonious and consistent with that which it is I wish to create in my life and as a partnership, you see? Now, time to time you will make a mistake. You'll think, oh, this is the perfect person, and it turns out they are not. Well, it is part of the three-dimensional world. Mm-hmm. And what has happened is you have learned, you have felt, you have experienced a vibration that is not consistent. Good, you have learned from this. Mm-hmm. So the next one that comes about that has the same vibration, you go, no, this is not working. I already experienced this. And then the more you do this, the more you're in the world, because that is the only way to create a harmonious vibration and partnership. Then indeed it might be that you come across one who is, you see.
Mm.
And merely by being in the world, doing what you do, creating what you create, you see, you can come to this.
There are some people who dedicate their lives to their calling. Their partnership is what they're here to do. They were not designed, or they were not here to have a relationship partnership with a person, but with a calling of what they're doing. Would you consider that a partnership on itself?
Well, that is creating from the passion that you are. This is quite remarkable and necessary to have a true sense of peace and wholeness within, you see. But the truth is, even if it's a casual partner, a friend, an acquaintance, somebody you have lunch with from time to time, all of these are relationships that feed the vibration of self. Although you may not have, let us call it a main partnership or an intimate partnership, whatever, you see, you are still in relationship with others you cannot not be, see.
Yeah, so everything is based in relationship with self and with whoever we interact, or with whatever we're interacting with.
Yes, this is the basis of the human vibration and the experience of universal energy that is one within all human beings. Very good.
So the more we open up to that energy, the better we are going to be, and the more we're going to contribute to other relations.
Yes, exactly. Because when you are self in the world, you are one with everything and everyone. Yes, very good.
Thank you, Katumi.
Also,
Thank you very much.
and so, my dears, until the next of our coming, peace to you and his tar.
And to you. Welcome back, Tom.
Thank you.
You spoke very profoundly.
Well, Katumi did. I wasn't here.
You're taking a nap.
Yeah, I
Actually,
guess.
what do you go through when this
I
is
don't-
happening? You know, you say you go to black, but
Yeah, there's
you
no
know?
feeling. I have no memories that I'm going anywhere, at least that I'm aware of. I have no awareness. Just exactly, it's, you know, you turn the TV off and there's a black screen, and then you turn it back on and there's stuff.
So you're not even acknowledging kind of the missing time.
No, there's no experience of that at all. There's no
Wonderful,
missing time.
incredible.
But there is an imprint he's left with the experience.
So you know how it feels, even though you don't know what was spoken about.
Not consciously.
Right.
It comes out in different ways, in conversations, in who he is, how he teaches. It impacts him personally.
So it's a kind of a subconscious thing rather than a conscious thing.
Yeah. There are times when Shelley and I will be teaching, and I'll come up with something, and I'll say, "I never thought of that before." And she said, "Katumi channeled that, a month ago." Like that. I'm always the last to know, in other words.
Well, at least you know, right? When it's the last one to the table, at least you
I'm
know.
thankful for that.
Yes. I think people forget that actually relationships, everybody looks at a relationship with, the significant other. But, the reason I asked the question about a relationship with a calling, there are so many people who have dedicated their lives to something. And that is their relationship to whatever it is they're here to do. And that calling, that's where their energy and their passion is. That's what ignites other energies around them. In many, many ways, that is their spouse. It feeds them, they feed it, and they get just as much satisfaction out of it as they would in a traditional relationship.
Yes. You can have that kind of partnership with yourself that passionately moves you to whatever it is that you're doing. And we all have a relationship with that. if you're passionate about anything, you go into your life, even if you're not aware of it. If you're, just you go to the job because you got to pay the bills and you got kids you got to feed, and the husband does this and you do that. There's still a relationship you have with yourself and an honoring of the things in the relationship that you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is taking it a step beyond that, beyond the day-to-day, what people do in their relationship. Taking it to a place where not only do you do those things, but you also discover the passion in yourself, the passion in each other, and determine how you're going to bring that into the world. And that's where I think and see people really grow beyond what they thought they could and where they thought they would be. And it's wonderful to watch that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the more awesome you are, which of course is in your teachings, Shelley, igniting the awesomeness in people, that discovery of, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could be that. I didn't know I was this much. The more we become in ourselves, the more we exude that out to other people. So anybody, no matter what the relationship is that you have with everyone, is going to benefit from it, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when we become clear in ourselves, it impacts that other person if they're open to it, if they're open to the experience, and it actually can support them in expanding their own lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we impact thousands of people over a lifetime.
The wonderful ripple effect that goes out, right? Yeah, it's we've talked a lot about energy and frequency and things like this, but people don't realize that it's the invisible energy that we don't see. It's not something you plug in, we're not downloading it. Well, we are downloading it, but we are the energy. And that energy that we are in that passion, in that conviction, in that love of life, in love of what we do and why we do it, is the energy that's resonating out there. And it can ignite something in someone else. It's not for us to dictate, oh, you must press this button and press that button and become. It's an invitation for other people, isn't it, to ignite something inside of them, an energy that they didn't even know that was there. It was being waiting for for someone just to switch on the switch.
And that's the power of true connection with one another. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're talking earlier about the beginnings of a relationship where it's so wonderful and ecstatic and all of that. Well, one of the things that I have found in a relationship with Tom over the years is that the ecstasy has transformed into something even deeper, because there's such a richness to it that although it was very exciting in the beginning, still has an excitement, but there's a depth to it. Yeah. There's a depth of the vibration of the connection that is just extraordinary, that carries us into everything that we do in our lives.
Yeah, it's that connection of the soul, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The soul and heart are resonating on the same good vibrations, and as I said, when you can sit with someone in silence and you're still speaking to one another, because it's that wonderful energy that is connecting. You don't need to be having a dialogue. Just being in each other's presence, you feel each other, you are communicating.
That's exactly right.
Yes, communicating is a vibrational experience. Whether speaking or not, we still communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And there's a profound experience of a partnership when you have those experiences over time, or if they're even just short kind of blips. Very often, Shelley will think about somebody, and maybe that later that day or the next day they'll call.
Or even a few minutes later.
Yeah.
I very often know when the son is calling or my daughter is calling, or a dear friend is calling. Oh, that's so and so, and almost always it is.
Yeah, because you're picking up the signature.
Yes, exactly.
So a partnership is at that same level.
Yeah.
A partnership is knowing who the other person is and their experience profoundly and deeply. And then again, I keep harping on this, what we do, is that now what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
What are you going to build with it?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing, is bringing that into the world.
Yeah. You know,
So-
the value of each other, you know? You truly have respect and value for each other, for what, you know, and celebrate each other and each other's light, you know, together, you know, you make a disco, but individually, your light's going on. So.
Hopefully without the disco music.
Staying alive.
So with no time, yeah, I like no time. But you know, the thing I do want to tell people is that Tom and I actually came to who we were as a couple years and years ago. I did mention it briefly,
Yes.
but I didn't say what it was. And we actually got very clear in the feeling of being connected with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we say our purpose is in our life, or who we are, is that we're family in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And family meaning the connection that we are as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And it shapes everything that we do and everything that we create and everything we support people with,
Right.
including sitting down and having dinner together.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about creating a purpose and actually acknowledging that third energy that exists automatically in any relationship is that when you acknowledge it and give it a form, as we did, we gave it a statement, but it represents an energetic experience that we have already.
Yeah.
So now we live in the world being the expression of family.
Mm-hmm.
And it shapes reality. It shapes how you're creating your life. So we feed that expression power by doing the things that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And it feeds us individually as people, and it feeds us as a couple being in the world.
Right. Right. I mean, clearly you two are doing something right. I mean, as I said, not only 49 years, but, you know, the way you both work at what you work, you support each other through your work. You are the yin and yang of each other, the balance. And then when you merge together, you know, one can feel, you can feel the energy and the passion. But I mean, it's just so cute to see you so cuddly together. You know, I'm envious. I miss the cuddles. I do.
Time to create a
I know.
relationship, Sarah, dear.
I know. It's like, hey, where have I got time for one? But, you know, I always say,
You
I'm
don't have
open
the
to it.
time.
I know. I have to just be open to it when it's meant to
That's
happen,
right.
right? Yeah.
And you know, creating doesn't occur in time.
You're right. Yes, I know. I know.
You know that.
Yeah. And for me too, I always seem to meet someone in the universe before they manifest physically. So I haven't had any
And that's
signatures
exactly
yet.
right.
Yeah.
There's a vibrational feeling that exists in the
Mhm.
universe when you create it on purpose.
Yeah.
That now, as you're going out to meet people, as Katumi was speaking about,
Yeah.
either that vibration matches or it doesn't. Sometimes you don't recognize it initially.
Right.
Sometimes we're so busy with our to-do list of how that person should be that we don't recognize a person when they're right in front of us.
Yeah, if you've made a list
Mhm.
of the perfect partner, then you've got down hair color and how he's supposed to look, what he's supposed to make, what he's driving, you know, all that stuff. Okay, if you've done that, throw it out.
Yeah.
Don't use that list, because
Yeah.
you'll miss everybody else
Yeah.
that you don't have an illusion about.
Right.
So if you're doing that, stop doing it.
I think, you know, it's don't paint the picture of what you visually want. Paint the picture of how you want to feel in someone's
Yes,
presence.
exactly.
That is exactly.
You know, and
exactly
for
right.
me, I want to know that basically in trust, I can go into someone's arms and feel at home. Like the two of you are melding together, you're at home together. You know, and just to, you know, no words, no nothing, be able to merge together with someone and feel at home. And it's not something I have felt in my life, and it's something I'm very open to feeling. Once this COVID has passed, you know, I intend to get out there again. Let me out.
You know, as far as too busy,
Mm.
there's an old expression: if you want something done, give it to somebody who's too busy to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the problem with being a solopreneur. You're wearing all of the hats, and every now and again, your head starts feeling a little wobbly from all of the hats.
Trying to stop and get off the wheel for a little bit
Yeah,
and regenerate.
exactly. This weekend, nada happening. I'm not looking at the screen at all. And you know, they're not opening up completely here for us yet, but, you know, going out for a walk or anything else, I need to do that. I just need to get out there into the waterfront on my own, and I will be doing that. You know, and I've always open to meeting people, you know, it just, that connection. I love meeting strangers. Where are you from? You know, what's going on in life? And I love that. So it's, I'm very open to that. And it's, you know, somebody's there for me, I'm there for them. But for me, first and most importantly, do our energies meet? You know, before anything, do the energies meet? Because when the energies do meet, it's a beautiful dance, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's why I fell in love with you.
Bless you. Bless you. So we're doing so many shows together, you know, that energy just meets and goes, ta-da!
Right. You actually speak our language. Isn't that fantastic?
but that actually is a point, really, isn't it? It's when you connect with somebody vibrationally, the language that you speak to one another is understood. Right? And you don't have to think about it. You just are it. You let it flow. There is no guarding. There is no trying to translate. And when you do meet that person where you can just let things flow, there is no thought in it. There's just the feeling is coming through. That really is just heavenly, isn't it?
It's heavenly.
Yeah. To have a true partnership, you have to stop protecting yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you're whole in your life, when you know who you are, when you're being in the world who you feel you are and doing what it is you're passionate about, there isn't anybody, and I've said this before, there isn't anybody who can take that away.
Right.
C20 talks about that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, Shelley and I did a show last week on, you know, the creativity of sensuality, and people thinking sensuality is sexuality, but where it is being in tune with all of your senses. But in relationships, I do know that if you are in tune with all of your senses, you are exuding a particular energy that is very often misconstrued as sexuality.
That's correct.
Yeah, we're human beings are kind of prone to that evolutionarily, but that I think is soon replaced with a true sense of each other.
True. Yeah. Well, it's a way of filtering people out. If they've picked you up sexually, you go, okay, all right, no, I know what dimension you're on. You know? And if there's more of you that they want to know, then the door is open, right? So, as you said before, you've got to go through the experiences and you know, partake and see for yourself if there's a fit or not. It's not just going to be, hallelujah, this is it. You're not going to know if it's it unless you're willing to kind of meet and greet and see if there's a connection.
If you're willing to be open emotionally, I'll tell you the story of how we got together. I think we'll kind of demonstrate this. I was staying. My brother lived in Philadelphia. He was a dental student with his wife, and I went there one weekend, and they had met Shelley, my brother and sister, first sister-in-law. They had met Shelley at a community.
It was a community cooking class.
Yeah, and they got along, and his wife, no, Shelley said to Laura, his first wife, "Is there another one at home like him?" Meaning Steve, because Steve is a charmer, and he's a great brother. I really love him. And she said, "Is another one like him at home?" And she said, "Well, matter of fact, there is." So he set it up to meet a week or two later, whatever it is, and I went to his apartment. And they went out to pick up Shelley, bring her back, and they were going to all have dinner together. So they came back, and I was sitting on the couch, and my sister-in-law came in the door, followed by Shelley. And she stopped in the doorway for just a moment. She was framed in the doorway. And I said, "Oh, that's it, I'm done." it was instantaneous. The
Mhm.
experience I had, my body shuddered, and I went, whoop, whoa, hello.
Earthquake
He's
happening
dead,
here.
I'm done. And how many months later we were married?
We were married 9 months later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Well, when
got
it's
married
right, it's right. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We met each other Valentine's Day weekend and got married on Thanksgiving Day.
So the point is that when you're open to the energy, open
Yeah.
to the vibration, then allow that experience to take you.
Yeah. Trust it, right? Trust
If it's
it.
true,
Yeah.
if it's really true, it'll never be wrong.
No. And the thing is, if you have to question it, is it your own doubt coming in? Is it your own fear coming in? Trust the
That's
feeling.
okay.
Trust the feeling and explore where this feeling is going.
Yeah, and it's okay to doubt a little bit and say,
Yeah.
wait a minute, let me take a look. But if it's true, it'll be there.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't need to explain it, validate it, it is.
No, it doesn't even have to make any sense.
Right?
In fact, it's probably best if it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Who knew? Well, the universe did. Yeah. Well, it clearly is looking good on you. I mean, for what is it, 51 years old? Now you've been married nearly 49 years. You're looking really good there, Shelley.
Right.
No facelift, no nothing.
There you go. There you go.
No
So clearly,
The
love is keeping
it's
you.
all love and light.
Exactly. I need some of that. I'm aging. So, and I think that is something that we forgot to mention, but I think something we need to go out on: laughter. If you can't laugh in your relationship, you're just going to curl up and die. And laughter is just so important. At each other, with each other, over life, everything.
So important.
I have a good friend who had T-shirts and sweatshirts made up that said, "Live, love, laugh, and be free."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a time for seriousness, but don't take each other so seriously. That's because that's when you start kind of nitpicking, isn't it?
That's when the women start controlling and finding fault with things.
Right. Yeah. No, you didn't pull the
We're good at
toothpaste up.
that.
You didn't put the toilet seat down. Nitpicking. Right. So
Yeah.
we each bring our own beautiful flavor to the table, and when that recipe is right, it's right, and we just have to be willing to explore through life. And as you said, who we are is what we're going to invite. And if you keep inviting disasters, it's because that's what you're reflecting. You're reflecting out what you don't want, and that's what's been invited in. So project out what you do want, how you want to feel, how you want to be able to love someone else. Project that out. And, when the universe and the time is right, it will happen, right?
Absolutely.
But pay attention to the little signs in life.
Very important.
Yes, definitely. Well, of course, they can come here to selfdiscoverymedia.com and simply put in Doctors Shelley and Tom Negelow, and they'll get all of your shows that we've done together, because we've done quite a few now. And we have another one coming up, Tom, next week
Yes.
with you and Kutumi. And we had you on last week, Shelley, with
Yes.
sensuality and creativity, and we've done leadership of women. But also let people know about your summit, your women's summit, and also your relationship coaching. How do people get hold of you?
Well, first of all, the site to reach me is Power of Woman Seminars with Shelley Negelow, and I think the name is on the screen.
Negello, right?
Negelow, actually.
Right.
And Shelley is with an EY. And also, I can be reached at shelleynegelow@gmail.com. Our next event that Linus Woods Mullins and I are doing is Emergence Encounters Masterclasses.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be gotten at bit.ly/emergence encounter. The bit.ly account has been changed to Emergence Encounter, and that will take you right to the page to get all the information. That's the beginning of opening yourself up to who you are, and also great input into your health and your well-being that Linus gives. It's a profound classes that we're giving in June.
Right.
And also Tom and I, Tom can be reached at tomnegelow@gmail.com. And if you're interested in relationship mastery seminars or relationship coaching individually or as couples, we are certainly available for that. I'm certainly available to speak with anyone about the Power of Woman seminars. So I hope that's pretty complete. Of course.
And the Facebook?
Facebook for Tom is Dr. Tom Negelow. The other is The Voice of Unconditional Love, which anyone can sign up to join. And that is all the information about Tom, his teaching, and the Ascended Master Katumi. And you will have many channels on there.
Right. And you also have a YouTube as well, Tom, right? That people can see that on as well?
Yes, that's Dr. Tom Negelow on Facebook. Yeah.
On YouTube?
The Voice of Unconditional Love.
Right.
Yes.
Excellent. And of course, we'll have you back next week where we're going to dive into some more topics, Tom. And, you know, I've really enjoyed this whole series with the two of you. It's lovely to actually have you together because I've been having you individually. So, you know, you're proof that what you're doing and what you're teaching works, because it's not just two individuals trying to preach their stuff. You can see the meld. You can see the meld between the two. You know, it's the two butterflies forming the whole one. You know, so yeah, you are definitely Gifu.
Thank you. That is really very touching. Thank you, Sarah. And thank you for having us today. Really
always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. It's wonderful to have you. Both of you, such beautiful divine energies, but you're also so very grounded. And you know, you can just feel the love. You both love. You know, you love what you're doing, you love each other, you love what your calling is, and it just is. And that's what's so wonderful, that purposeful, meaningful love energy that comes from both of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. So folks, if you're in a relationship, you want to be in a relationship, remember the first relationship is with self. Are you being the best you can be for you? Are you good for you? Do you love you? Do you like you? Are you honoring you? This is where it starts. And the more you pour into yourself, the more you'll be able to share with someone else. Stop looking for someone else to fix you, define you, refine you, complete yourself. Then you will actually find the right energies to be around you, and you'll be able to live that life of exuberance that you've been seeking. So until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope you enjoyed the show. We look forward to bringing you more shows. Please go to selfdiscoverymedia.com/shows and you will see the incredible lineup of genres and shows that we have for you. We are here to make a difference in your life. Thank you for listening.